I think it's pointing at me. Look, it's close to the sewage area, but it's a nice soccer field of grass where it's hardly used during the day, or it's like maybe not the primary one, and I would jog there, if I had a regular pool pass, which I haven't heard back from today yet, is how many business days it takes for them to bankrupt me before they give me a discount, the YMCA. So this is part 3 of my psychohistory today for June 6, 2023. I just put some deodorant and I felt guilty using up deodorant in case I do go to the pool later. And this is not a fresh shirt, it's one that's been worn a little bit, doesn't have a big smell yet. But I don't want to skip another day without going to the pool. I can smell myself, and I know it's not. I'm going to the bathroom number 2 many times today because I couldn't relax my abdomen yesterday in the opportunities of bathrooms I had. So, but the lady at the library, she didn't even need to scan my card. She said, "Oh, I've got your books here." She already knows me, right? It doesn't take much. It doesn't take too many days for a community to know there's somebody that's an Homo sapien, or that's not what they realize, but that's very different from them. And she may even wish me well, and I don't know, maybe she's single. She didn't talk about her husband or the dad when she talked about her and her kids moving here, and so she might want me to stay and when I get settled date me or something. I don't know. But she might, because I ask her questions and I'm curious. A lot of people assume, because I'm a lifelong learner, that I'm an innocent, dumb guy. Like I just wrote some things on a YouTube channel that was very religious, that is pro-Trump, and they'll have his back, when he goes to jail. And then people answer my questions where it is sarcastic, but it is, no, I want to know. And they answer me as if I'm innocent. But, that's kind of me just kind of being curious to see how they answer. But even when I'm not doing that, when I'm just genuinely asking questions of things I want to know, people see me as knowing so much more, or being so less connected to the human condition, my own specialty, than they are. So they think I have so much to learn when it comes to people or society or the human condition. And it's so sad. And if I'd say something like, "Oh, I just want you to be sure that you don't assume that just because I'm curious about something that I don't have a very deep and clear grasp, let's say, on the human condition, or how people act, or how people are different here or there, even though I'm asking your opinion about it." And just by saying this, which means they would now be faced with challenging some thought they had about me, and that gets them angry, and that's pointed at me instead of at them. And their response makes it worse because they don't ask me, "Oh, what do you know?" or "What makes you say this?" or "How are we maybe on or not on the same page?" Nobody does this. It's all about, I felt good about connecting with this guy a little bit, and you can tell he's lonely, but now he made me feel angry at him when I should really be angry at me. That's not the way their thinking is. That'd be a little bit too much metapsychology for them. But it'd be like, I was willing to kind of have more conversations with him, but now he's making me doubt that he's not at the level of intelligence or skill sets or awareness that I assumed he was. And again, you say, "Well, there you go, Martin. Flaw is with you, a common denominator, because you identify with this. You know you would react like this." And again, honestly, it's not my flaw, it's your flaw. So it's pretty sad. So will I get information from the pool today or not? And why am I procrastinating so much for my computer? Which may or may not be that hard, but at least to get the answer. I think I know where it is now. For a long time where I didn't think I did, so I'll try to do that today. But I did just apply for a lot of jobs, and I am down to the last 1 or 2. And the last one is related to you guys using me for not what's up here, but what's in here, right? And that's sad. It kind of proves finally who you really are as a species. And it doesn't mean that I wouldn't leave after this, after I give a huge donation of myself. Yeah, so I don't know. If Jesus came back, would he donate an organ, or would he use miracles? Like a lot of people, I say, well, if Jesus came back, you would hate him, right? Why? He's so great. Based on what? Based on miracles that solve the problems you don't even want to solve, and you never wanted to, and that kind of shows you don't deserve, you know, the place you think you're going to go. Now let's assume Jesus comes back and he can't work miracles, or he says, "I will not do miracles, and I will role model all the values as before, and see how Christians act." I tell you, you will. If you think you're shunning me or discriminating against me or persecuting me, you would be probably worse to him. And again, it'd be like this guy wouldn't be wearing a nice suit. He wouldn't have a big bank account. He wouldn't be pursuing a career and to buy a house. All the things you're doing that makes you feel like that's the way to evaluate a human being based on what you're doing. He'd be acting, even more different than I am. Okay, in the sense that, uh, like he's not playing the long game like I am. Because I'm not him. I'm me. And I don't want to have any serious health issues in a country where I can't rely on health care and things like that. Right? I'm pacing myself in case in the future, in decades, there'll be rewards for me living a life uncommon. Now, now he has more advantages, even if he can't work miracles. If he exists, right? He probably wouldn't be playing a long game. And he'd have his Father or Holy Spirit or whatever you want to say, and however you want to define it. And everybody thinks it's great when some priest defines it a different way, and then they might go to a different town after if they move and go to a different church where a priest describes the Holy Spirit a different way, which was amazing because the speaker skills of that. But it was totally different and inconsistent, and they can't realize this. Can't have both at the same time. And if so, then, that's starting to be weird, you know. And then you'll say, well, no, Jesus would automatically be a miracle where we would recognize it's him, although he would act in ways that we hate in you, Martin. But somehow we'd know it's him. He wouldn't have to do miracles and we'd love him. He'd be more like you, acting outside the norm, but we'd love him. Even though, might be like Jesus one time sent somebody else that's not Jesus to act like Jesus is acting, and then you'll hate him. But suddenly you hate Jesus. Like, what is it? How does reality make sense to you in this way?